Hi, welcome to January Q&A. It's just in January still. We've got loads of questions, so I'm going to crack on. The first question is from Nick Laguna, and there's also one which I'm going to put in at the same time with from @Tallypastoral, and it's about the rosemary water that I'm holding in the picture, and just asking what the benefits of rosemary water. The lovely people from Rosemary Water have actually responded to you on the Instagram feed, so I hope that's good. Let me know if you want more information, but they've done a really good reply. So, moving on. Sean Pertwee, morning beauty. If you were to eat dried fruit, what is the healthiest option? Well, they're all quite... Oh, sorry, and the rest of the question is also, if soaked, does it reduce sugar content? The answer to that, I'm afraid, is no, not really. Because it's dried and it is dehydrated, the sugar is much more concentrated. If there's sugar on the outside, obviously, and you soak it, the sugar on the outside will come off, so it'll be lower in sugar. But dried fruits are particularly high in sugar. The best ones, I would say date's quite a good one. So something with more fibre in it. You know, they're better than eating Skittles. So look on the bright side there. Vintage Rage Vintage. In your opinion, what are the best foods diet for people with an autoimmune disease such as psoriasis? It's very an anti-inflammatory diet is the answer. So things like sugar, coffee, alcohol, all those things that cause body to get a bit irritated are really not great for you. Whole foods are fantastic. Good fats are really great. They will help calm the body. You want to reduce inflammation, so think about what's going to calm the system down. Liskoga, sorry about my pronunciation today. What's the thing with grains? Is it just gluten that should be avoided? And then the second question is sugar and fructose, if sugar and fructose are chemically the same for the body, how come one is better than the other? The amount of vitamins that comes with sugar-loaded fruits is not that significant. Thanks in advance for making people smarter. Oh, you're welcome, I hope. Okay, so first question, so what is it with grains? Grains, it is gluten, but not all grains have gluten. People get a bit, they avoid grains partly because of the carbohydrate content, and there's a big fat, you know, people who are paleo would avoid carbs, and they would also, like people who are doing high fat, low carb, would avoid carbohydrate. They are a slow burning fuel, so I don't have an issue with grains. I think that as long as you use, you know, brown rice, not white rice. Buckwheat's a really nice non-gluten one that I use quite a lot, and they're a really good source of fuel. So, you know, I don't think there's anything against them at all. And sugar and fructose. It's tricky because they are the same. Fructose is slightly high mineral qualities, slightly. They both do cause an insulin response. Sucrose causes a slightly higher insulin response, but I think it's pretty much agreed that they are, you know, both sugars. If you have a sugar in a fruit, however, you do get all the other good things with it. So it's not just like you have a bit of berry and it's just a ball of sugar. It's so not. It's so many other stuff in it. So don't be afraid of fruit. You know, just eat it in moderation. Miss Lucy B, if you had one wish for all humanity and could implement one nutritional magic spell for all to follow forever, what would you choose? I think it's really simple. I'd tell people to eat more veg. I mean, really, you know, I think that would be one, probably not as profound as you are asking for, but, you know. At KMBB23, should people avoid lentils, chickpeas and grains? What can a vegetarian eat? I would never. I'm a big lentil fan, and chickpeas and grains. So no, why would you avoid them? I don't know why. I wonder why you were asking that. They're a great source of fibre, a great source of protein. Grains are a great source of slow-burning carbs, as we've just discussed. And definitely a vegetarian should be eating all those things, especially beans and pulses. They are your and nuts and seeds. You need to make sure you're getting protein, enough protein, and those are your, I would say, your staples. At Shauna_Redmond, hi Rose, sugar is still a constant weakness in my diet. Any recommendations of the best way to get a sugar hit with natural foods? Thank you. It is really hard. Once you're in the sugar loop, you need to kind of break that sugar thing and you need to go cold turkey, really. You know, be aware if there's anything else going on. Is there any candida present, which is what's craving sugar? You know, if that little yeast is around bugging you and eating, and that might be what's driving your sugar craving. Other things to do, fruit is obviously a really good one, but also fats, because fats will really help, like, make you feel full. So avocado would be a really good one, a flaxseed cracker and some hummus. Sometimes it's just because you're hungry that you're suddenly like, I need sugar. So just check that you're not leaving yourself till you're starving and then grabbing something sugary and sweet. Another thing is sometimes a protein shake, or like a spirulina type, not spirulina, like a maca shake would be a good thing to have, or a baobab, or a shake sometimes, because they can have quite a sweet taste. So try those. Or make a cup of tea. Maybe the ritual of that will keep your mind off it. Sorry, there's a dog settling on a beanbag. It's Claudia.Gould. Best way to do a heavy metals free radical detox, and how do we know if we even have them without spending a fortune on a test? Also, diet to support adrenal fatigue. Okay, doing a heavy metal, it's good to know if you do have them, because otherwise, and all I can say is things like, I tell you what's a really good chelator of heavy metals is coriander. It's a fantastic one. So basically, and you need to support your liver. So it can be quite difficult to do a heavy metal. It can be quite tricky to get the heavy metals out. But basically, by supporting your liver, removing the source of the heavy metals for a start, which is quite important to know. So if you're a big fan of tuna, for example, or fish, you need to find out where it's coming from. Has that got heavy metal in it? Or where is your heavy metal coming from? Is it from wall paint? Is it from your water pipes? You need to remove that first, obviously. Is it from your teeth? Is it from your amalgam fillings? So find that out first, and then you would start a very, very, I suppose, lots of green things. Spirulina is very good for it. Wheatgrass is very good for it. If you sort of want to really pump up the green veg and the really concentrated greens. So that would be how to do that. But be careful with it, because releasing heavy metals, if it's from your amalgam fillings, you need to make sure you're taking care that they don't flood the body, which will could make you feel quite unwell. To support adrenal fatigue, a whole food diet, loads and loads of green vegetables. You want to have lots of B vitamins in there. Make sure you're having enough protein with every meal, not too much, not too little. Make sure you're feeding, I would say, eating small and often with an adrenal fatigue diet, because you don't want to get tired, but you don't want to sort of slow your body down with a huge meal. And you should also look at possibly supplementing, depending on whereabouts you are with adrenal fatigue. With a B vitamin or something like that. Okay, at Frederic Biarou. Do I do intermittent fasting? Sorry, your question got missed off here, but I know that's what you're asking. Intermittent fasting, I actually do. I do, and I'm a big fan of it, and I am a big fan of doing, I do one fast day a week, a liquid day perhaps sometimes, or what I find is very useful is doing the 16-8, or the 8-60, or the 16-8 or the 18-6, depending how you're feeling. It's a very doable way, so that means every day so you sort of fast, say from 8 o'clock at night till 12 midday the next day, and then you have a good lunch. The only thing that I'm really, and I bang on about it all the time, is with intermittent fasting, it doesn't mean that you can just eat donuts and drink beer when you're not fasting. It doesn't mean that you can basically starve yourself and then binge. We're not looking at that. We're trying to rest our digestion and then eat really good, wholesome, nourishing food when we're eating, well balanced, in moderation. Otherwise it does just become a binge purge, and it is really not great for you. And I'm really I can get on my soapbox about that. So just make sure you're eating really well in the time that you are eating. Okay, next, the teenage Tum. Any suggestions for a good protein powder for my teen? He has, has ulcerative colitis, so no red meat and doesn't like eggs. Need to get protein powder into her. Sorry, little girl. Love your site, thank you. Oh, that's very sweet. Well, protein powders that I like, there is a really great one called Supernova, which I'm a big fan of. They do a really wonderful one. And they do a female, a male, and an organic. Then there are others that I use. Somoria is a great vegan one. It's got a nice amount of fibre in it too, which would help, because obviously you don't want too much fibre. But and then Nutri Advanced do a really nice, called Ultra Meal, and theirs is really good. They're all really good home protein, but they're all naturally, so you're not getting loads of chemical proteins and stuff. At Carl Pluka, is it okay to eat 3 Apfel food burgers in one go? Yeah, fine, go for it. As many, more the merrier. No, a bit of moderation in everything, even in my burgers. At Tess Dreyer, so many nutrition questions like I hate all cold drinks, herbal teas, and warm water. So am I missing something life-changing from not juicing a celebrity big? They make me feel cold. Well, so celery is a cooling vegetable, so salad. So if you're looking at Chinese medicine, salad and cold veg or cold salad stuff is cooling, and they would always say have warm stuff in the afternoon, cooling in the morning, but make sure you don't have raw after 4. Mainly, aside from hummus guacamole, what other raw garlic but edible lunchbox things are there to batch make for kids? I am always after a super immune boosting cold packed lunch ideas, even if they're a bit whiffy, as my son says. Thanks. Raw garlic is incredibly hard to put in stuff without it tasting exactly like garlic. There are things that the ways that I would use it crushed in a drink in the morning before they go to school. So even if you just squish it, and you take out the bit that's left, they have got very strong garlic water, and then you can put ginger in that and some rosemary, and that would be a great immune boosting thing for them to go before they go to school or when they come home. At BSZN, what can vegans eat to get more protein in their diet? Some foods to incorporate as a vegan are for healthy, strong hair. What are some supplements that are helpful for vegans? Okay, well, one for both of those strong, healthy hair and protein would be nuts and seeds. They have really good fats in them that will help your hair. They have loads of protein in them, and they have lots of, lots of protein and fat, sorry. And the other thing, so for strong hair, fats are really good. So flaxseed oil would be good, a spoonful of that. Avocado is a really good source of fats for your hair as well. Protein-wise, nuts, seeds, pulses, beans, they all are your protein sources, really. Tofu, you could have some tofu. Tempeh, I miss my tempeh, I love tempeh. That's a really good fermented type of soy, so it's really good for the gut as well. So those would be my top tips for proteins. You could supplement, if you are really struggling with protein, you could supplement with a protein powder, but get a really nice one, as I said before. Sunmori is great, Supernova is great. And what was the other one I said? Oh, Ultrameal. They're all really good. Supplement-wise, B12, B12 is often one that needs it, but if you're feeling fine, then you don't necessarily need to supplement with B12. Your bacteria create quite a lot of B12 all on their own. So, but that's one to keep an eye on, usually for vegans. Okay, at Jerry Sept, 2011, what would you say is the most important healthy vegetable you can eat, and do you believe in a low-carb diet? Kale actually is the most, I know. It is kale. It has the highest mineral content and vitamin content. It has the most variety that we know of. All vegetables. You know what? The thing is, you have to eat a rainbow of vegetables to get a full spectrum of all the wonderful polyphenols and stuff that they have to offer. But kale is kind of up there with a lot in it. Do I believe in a low-carb diet? I think some people it works really well. I think a higher fat, lower carb is the way to lean. I do know people get their knickers into a bit of a twist about making sure they get enough fats, and then and then it becomes all about measuring stuff. And I don't think that. I think to be aware of adding more good fats in is a really good thing to do. And I think most people eat quite low carbohydrate just because it tends to be grab and go sandwiches, cereal, pasta. At Opalescent71, Rosemary, is it possible to reverse thyroid issues? It depends. It's very hard to answer this because it depends whereabouts you are, how far along. It depends if you're hypo. So without knowing more, I'd be wary to answer this, but I can say that there are definitely programs out there that support a healthy thyroid, and there are definitely things that we need to include, like selenium, iodine, depending which way your thyroid's leaning, but not too much iodine. You can get enough iodine from eating some seaweed or standing on the beach. So you need to be a bit wary about these things. So it would be good to know more, or go see somebody who can help you, or get so they can look at your numbers. But selenium is sort of one that's very important. Also things like just eating sugar. Try not to eat so much sugar, and things like that will help your thyroid too, because it can slow it down. At Liana Bird, to drop a little post-baby weight. Is it better to cut down on fat or carbs and sugar? It's definitely better to cut down on carbs and sugar if you want to lose post-baby fat, because it is to lose weight in general. There's a really good book called Eat Fat, Get Thin, which it's just really good because it explains to you why. It's sort of counterintuitive for us now, because we think you eat fat, you get fat, just probably because of the names as well, and we've been schooled in that as well, but actually it's the reverse. So try to increase your fats, good fats, and reduce your carbs a little bit, or make sure if you're going to have carbohydrate, have it first thing in the morning and then leave it for the rest of the day. At honeypolly40, do you use essential oils? Just discovering oils that are therapeutic grade so you can ingest them, and would like your insight. Do you know, I don't really, to be honest, use them. I like essential oils, and I think that they can help, like infused into the air, but I this isn't really where I don't feel strong enough to answer that question. I don't know, basically, sorry. So when you do, can you tell me? At Janie Fulcher, hi, is there a test is there a test which can help knowing what gut bacteria you have and what food you metabolize best? There are lots of different tests. It sort of sounds like a combination of a comprehensive stool test, which would absolutely tell you it would tell you all the bacteria, commensal, non-commensal bacteria you have, good, bad. I mean, it's a very, very informative test for someone like me. Finding out what food you metabolize best is more of a DNA type test, I would say. Although, yeah, I think it probably would be more of a DNA type test. So you could do both of those, and they would both give you a very good picture. At Jar Law 4, hi Rosemary Ferguson, best foods for balancing hormones, please, in menopausal me and PMS teen. Sugar is a big one here. They can really upset them. That can really upset the hormones. Also think about good fats, helping to calm the system down and to get it sort of ticking along a bit more slowly. Make sure you're hydrated. Whole foods are really important. And you also want to think about supporting your liver a little bit, so make sure you're getting enough greens in there. Just because your liver deals with all the hormones that are going on, and all the hormones get processed by the liver. So make sure you've got enough leafy greens in there, or green powders or whatever you're using to help the liver, to help the natural detoxification that the liver does all the time anyway. But yeah, it really is. I mean, it's very whole food is the answer. There are more particular things you can use. So for menopause, you can think about sage. There are herbal tinctures you can use, like Agnes Castors is great for hormones. So yeah, I hope that helps. At Cleo MC, are there any supplements, specific brands you rate would be useful? You suggest taking for helping reducing risk of ulcerative colitis flare-ups. Well, actually, we talked about ulcerative colitis at the beginning. I think so. If I don't know if you're vegetarian or not, or vegan, but if you're not, and fish oil is a possibility. Fish oils would be a really good thing to take. Turmeric supplement would be a really good thing to take. Anything that helps calm it down, helps to keep. So anything that helps sort of nourish the body rather than irritate it. So a high good fat diet or fish oil supplement would be ace, and turmeric would be brilliant. And I hope that helps. And the dogs are still going mad. But that's it. I'm done. So I'll see you in February. Thank you very much.